Welcome to the Business of Travel, the official podcast of the Global Business Travel Association. I'm Grace Morrisey. I'm one of the GBTA Ladders co-chairs, and I will be your host for today's episode, the second in our GBTA Ladders series. If you missed our first episode, which was published on March 10th, you can go back and give that a listen and learn everything you need to know about what GBTA Ladders is and how you can get involved too. In short, the GBTA Ladders program is a team-based mentoring program, which is based on three pillars: networking, professional development, and a season-long project presentation that all teams work throughout the season. And at the conclusion of the ladder season, a winner is determined at our annual summit. Today, we will be focusing on that third pillar, as I am excited to be joined by this year's winning team, Travel Change. I would like to introduce the team, and they will all say hello so you can get to know their voices. And first, I'm going to introduce Micha van Eijk, Senior Product Manager at Emburse.
Hi, goedemiddag. My name is Micha. I work for Emburse, and my chosen charity is the KWF, the Dutch Cancer Society.
Thank you. Next up is Stevie-Leigh Harrison, Global Product Manager at TakeTwo Travel Solutions.
Hello, I'm Stevie-Leigh, and my chosen charity is Shelter.
Great, thanks, Stevie. The next team member for introduction is Lorena Hurtado, Marketing and Digital Manager at Avianca Airlines.
Hi, I'm Lorena Hurtado. My chosen charity is Youths, and my native language is Spanish.
Fabulous. Our next team member is Itzetl Villanueva at Enterprise Solutions. Our next team member is Itzetl Villanueva, Enterprise Global Sales Manager at Delta Airlines.
Hola, mi nombre es Itzetl Villanueva at Delta Airlines, and my chosen charity is Delta Care Fund.
Thank you. So the team is led by their mentor, Anja Turner, Vice President, Marketing and Communications at BCD Travel.
Guten Tag und Grüße aus Frankfurt. I'm Anja Turner with BCD Travel, and my chosen charity is Doctors Without Borders.
Thank you, Anja. And last but certainly not least, the team is supported by their alumni advisor, Kayleigh Rogers, Consulting Manager at American Express GBT.
Hello, I'm Kayleigh Rogers, and my charity of choice is Compassion UK.
Thank you, everyone. So, as you can probably tell, our team here is made up of several folks based in Europe. So that's something that makes them unique and really exciting to work with. So let's jump into it and talk about the project specifically that you all pulled together over the course of the ladder season over the last few months. So the name of the project is Travel Change. I'm going to start with Stevie-Leigh. What is the concept of Travel Change, and how did you envision its application in the travel industry? I'll let you go ahead and fill us in on that. Stevie-Leigh.
Thanks, Grace. So the concept of Travel Change is to round up or down travel and expense transactions and apply that amount to charitable donation, allowing the traveller to choose from a list of charities that their business feel best aligns with their own goals, values, and environmental and social responsibility strategy. We envision the application in the industry as a collaborative piece of technology with plans for integration within online booking tools and expense platforms, ensuring that the product is where the travellers are at the point of sale and post-trip when claiming their expenses. This will allow for a seamless implementation and ease of use by existing in products that the travellers are already familiar with. So whilst we see the product as a disruptor in the industry, it won't disrupt the travel or expense process that our audience is used to.
That's awesome. Thank you, Stevie-Leigh. So how did the team come up with this idea? Was this something that you all settled on from the start, or did your team sift through different concepts to get to this point? Of course, the GBTA Ladders program, when you're pulling together these project ideas, it's a little bit of a journey. So Lorena, do you mind filling us in on how that journey was for your team this year?
Yes, Grace. So when we started this program last year, each of us proposed a different idea where we analyzed the pros and cons of each topic. Stevie was the one who brought the concept, giving us the example that McDonald's has when you buy a Big Mac or any other products. I think she really loves McDonald's though. As a group, we developed creating the product travel change, where we conduct a survey through different channels and we identified that this concept was aligned with the industry and with this year's theme, looking beyond travel to drive change. We also identified that people are willing to donate, but sometimes they don't feel attached to any organization or they don't donate due to lack of time. When we were doing our research, we found a study conducted by Professor Robinson from North Carolina, where she identified that people are more likely to donate with round-up requests versus flat donations, even if the amount is identical. Travel change makes giving easy and convenient to travelers because you will have the options to round down your expense report every time you travel for business.
Fantastic. Yeah, I also really love McDonald's, so I think that was a great place to find inspiration for your project. So the next question that I have for the group, and Micha, I will start with you on this one. So of course, this past season's topic was looking beyond travel to drive change. So looking to those outside sources, places like McDonald's, to find inspiration, concepts, and ideas that we can bring back to the travel industry to drive forward innovation in our way of doing things that we've had in place for so long. So of course, that is no easy task. So Micha, can you just talk a little bit more about how you pulled the idea together and thinking through every single step of the process? One of the consistent pieces of feedback we received from the judges during your presentation was how well thought through your project was. You really thought of every process, hurdle, and potential roadblock. How did you each leverage your individual experiences and expertise to pull together such a well-rounded project and work through the season as you put together this presentation?
Yes, I think one of the key things here is that we really are a diverse team, and that's not only because we're based in different countries, but also based on our positions. We have people working with airlines, with DMCs. We have people more in the technology sector, at expenses. So that really helped in getting a vision that is thought through of every step of the way. So we were really able to come together and see our idea from different viewpoints. So that really helped in identifying potential roadblocks and getting past those. But we were also really able to leverage each other's strengths. So we had some people that were really good in more in the marketing and the research sector. We had some people really good at bringing the concept to life and really leverage that. But I think the most important thing is that everything is also an unknown. So meaning when we started this project, none of us had experience with how donations work, what tax implications are. So we really work together as a team to learn more about donations, about tax implications, about how the best user experience is. With the research that we did, we all worked together on getting the questions out there. It really helped doing this together, because if you're navigating something new just by yourself, it can really feel like a big hurdle. But when you're doing that as a team, that really helped us in getting this idea off the ground. And we were actually really lucky that in the very beginning of the project, we were all able to actually meet each other in person in London. So as of that moment, we spent one day, a full day together, and that really helped in getting that sense of a team feeling. And we were able to leverage that throughout the entire project. And of course, also the differences in nationality help. One of the things that we noticed when we were doing a run through of our presentation is that one of the images we were using on how to collect money when you go door to door, that's actually not a universal thing, like the collection baskets. It's something that differs per country. So we had an image that only worked in the UK in the beginning. But because we have that experience, we were able to really look at it from an international point of view and find something that works not just for the US market or not just for the UK market, but something that will work internationally. And I think that's the benefit of having such a diverse team as we had.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. So at Travel Change's core, Travel Change is a philanthropic concept and a vehicle for companies to donate to causes that are important to them. What would be the potential financial impact that could be generated by this concept being implemented on a large scale? Of course, there's, it seems like low-hanging fruit, a few pieces of change when you're checking out at the end of your transaction. It seems like something small to the user, but Itzetl, can you tell us a little bit more about, on a more macro sense, what we could see if this was implemented on a more broad scale?
Yes, sure. Through the process, we realized the impact can be as big as we can inspire others. We mentioned Amazon donates 100 million every 5 years, but with Travel Change, we think we can do better. The travel industry is huge. Can you imagine the positive impact of 5.3% of global GDP? We could donate thousands, millions to support great causes. Another fact, it's, for instance, Americans go over 400 million trips annually. By rounding up 24 cents, we could donate 1.4 billion. This is huge. One more perk. Donations made through Travel Change are tax deductible to the extent permitted by law, just like a normal donation. So we believe this is a team effort, and let's make it happen.
I agree. The financial impact and the downline benefits are certainly undeniable. So what a great concept Travel Change is, and it would be amazing to see the change that could be brought through the world just by, rounding up the end of your transaction. So Kayleigh, I'm going to come to you next. What do you see as the next step for Travel Change? Where do we go from here?
Well, we've had such huge support for this idea, which is great. And we've had people saying to us, this is so obvious. Why doesn't it exist already, like in the travel industry? And like you just said, Grace, it's low-hanging fruit. It's being seen as such a quick win to help organizations work towards their ESG goals. And also, there are so many different ways to integrate our solution into a way that would complement a company's culture. So we're not just trying to sort of fit everyone in a box. This is really a solution that I believe can work with any type of company, regardless of their culture. And as a sort of next step, we would encourage GBTA to support us in developing the Travel Change solution into an expense management reality. Whatever that roadmap would look like connecting us with sponsors, for instance, that it would be great to be able to sort of progress this idea and really start to move towards helping companies meet those ESG goals.
Absolutely. I think it's such a great concept, and it's something that exists in so many other facets of our world. We mentioned, of course, fast food restaurants, but I feel like every time I go somewhere, they're always asking, do you want to donate $1 or $2 to a particular charity? And it's so easy to say, yes. And, you do that a million times across, a certain period of time, and you're really up, quite a bit for that particular charity. It would be a tremendous win for not only, the travel industry, but the world as a whole, which would be incredible. So let's move to a little bit more about ladders specifically. Anja, this is your second win as a mentor, which is not something that we say very often. It's hard to win a ladder season. So I think everybody's wondering, what is your secret and what keeps you coming back to ladders each season?
Well, I think that's a good question. And it's hard to answer that one, quite frankly. But I think for me personally, there are really three things that stand out in winning a season. And the first thing is certainly the idea that the team generates. It needs to be quite unique. And why I'm saying unique is we presented travel change and everybody said, why didn't I think of this? Because it's so so pertinent and it's so relevant, and certainly it's around us every day, but bringing that idea into the travel industry was unique in a sense. And we could have pivoted to the common pain point of what our industry was experiencing at the time, such as talent acquisition and retention, but the team didn't. It would have been potentially an easier path to go, but they wanted to be standing out with something that they felt no other team would possibly bring to the table. And hence, I think that idea in itself shined. And certainly as a second item, I would say it's chemistry. The team gelled really well. We've become fast friends and good friends. I think a friendship that will sustain this season by far. And we really like each other, generally like each other. And please don't call me out, guys, okay? So that would be really awkward right now. So we do actually, get along, we understand each other, and we have a huge amount of respect for each other. I would say that really helped as well. And lastly, I would say it's trust. Trust from the mentor side is to really see that the team's inner drive is there, that they are committed to the season, that they're committed to really making the most of the Ladders program, and that they show up, right? I know not everybody can always make time for this, but it is a time commitment. And from a mentor's perspective, you just have to believe that the team is there to give it their all and to win it. And I could see that definitely being the case with this group. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love what you said, sort of, if you lean into the program, you'll definitely get a lot more out of it. And I think that sentiment certainly resonates with this team, pulling together such a comprehensive and well thought through project. And that, Anja, you leading them through that project, but all of them, all of the entire team coming together to put together such an incredible project. There's certainly, something to be proud of here. So congratulations to everybody. So the next question I have is, I want to hear from each of you. In 30 seconds or less, what is the biggest takeaway you have from Ladders this season? Did you learn a new skill that you took back to your day job? Did you discover something about yourself to help you work better? Or maybe you made a new connection or a new friend. So Stevie-Leigh, I will start with you, and then we will go through the group and hear from each of you. So 30 seconds or less, what was your biggest takeaway from Ladders this season?
So I'd have to say mine is the connections that I've been able to make within the Ladders community, with all of the networking opportunities that are made available to us, not to mention the close connection that Anja mentioned with our teammates. I've really expanded my visibility across the industry with new supplier connections and a better understanding of the resource available to me within GBTA.
I think also be vulnerable and open to learn, share, and inspire. And of course, the connections.
Yeah, and for me, it's really, well, actually, it's not something that you can put in 30 seconds, because you get so much out of it, especially if you devote so much time to it as we did with the entire project. you learn things of yourself in like a personal way. You learn to work with new team members as well, because sometimes if we work in a company for a longer time, you get used to working with the same people over and over again. So it's a really, really good opportunity to sort of step out of your comfort zone in various ways, and working with new people and going on stage to present your idea, meeting a lot of new people. But yeah, I think the theme for our team is at least that we have a wonderful group of people here that I'm happy to call not just teammates, but friends now as well.
Yeah, to add, yeah, the biggest takeaway from this program was the bonding we have created as a group. We even traveled to London to meet each other in March. And the diversity that we have, even we were talking about currency, our friends from Europe always say about pounds and euros, and Itzetl and myself that are based here in the United States, we always talk about dollars. So that little details, we understand that we are global. We have a big world in front of us. So that's the beauty of this program.
This was my first year. This is Kayleigh, and this was my first year as an alumni advisor. And from this, I learned how to play the role of a coach, to encourage my team as individuals to be creative and grow, to cheer them on, but then also to share feedback when they got stuck, and sort of to watch them go through that whole process end to end, has been really rewarding and such a great opportunity for me.
Yeah, I second everything that has been said, certainly. And I love Lorena's response with regards to the diversity. I think the diversity of the team made the solution more profound and certainly more worldly adoptable. From my standpoint, I just have to say the reason why I love the program, and why I believe everyone else does too, because there are a few folks that like to stay in the program a little longer, like I do, is really because everybody comes to the table without driving their own company agenda. It's very seldom in our industry that we work on something together, and there are not different agendas that pull strings or that try to drive a direction of a project. So in this case, it's really about just bringing yourself, bringing your expertise, being open to learn a few extra things along the way, and to work on one common goal without trying to monetize your project or your idea, without trying to position your company in a better light. And I honestly think this is the essence of Ladders. It's just that people come without the company requirements, but just for being there to grow. So that would be my 2 cents.
Yeah, I love it. I love hearing something different from everybody on the team. And then personally, Anja, I think what you said really resonated with me. I'm one of those people who's just been a part of the Ladders program for years, and I never leave. But, I think certainly every single season, there's something different to get out of it. So Kayleigh, as you mentioned, this is your first year as an alumni advisor, and stepping into that leadership capacity, which is something that, maybe you get to do that in your day job, but, leading through a Ladders season is certainly a whole different expectation and a different approach. So, I love that. And, just hearing from the team and everything that they got out of it, thinking through the entire concept and making new friends and making those connections and learning through different concepts. Like Lorena mentioned, you think you have the concept, and then you have to think through the details. So, those details of currency and, making sure that it's a global solution and not just for one particular group of people. So final question before we wrap up today, and we'll go kind of in that reverse order so we'll start with you, Anja. But if you were to describe GBTA Ladders with 2 words, which I know can be a challenge, what would those 2 words be?
Well, I was just thinking that actually because I saw that question later today. So I was brainstorming on that as we were talking through, and I said the 2 words for me are, it's addictive and priceless.
For me, my 2 words, and I will elaborate a tiny bit if I'm allowed, would be it's a safe space. It's such a great place to come and be able to just share ideas and speak out loud and think out loud without any form of judgment. You can ask those silly questions, and you've got a wealth of knowledge from all different perspectives at your fingertips to get those questions answered. Safe space. It's such a good program.
For me, is commitment and thinking out of the box.
Yeah, and it's all about innovation, and even though it's 2 words at itself, but I think personal growth, it's just invaluable how much you can get out of it if you commit to the program.
For me, it was the first time experiencing, so I think that comes along with multicultural experience, international exposure, connections, and big commitment. Great program indeed.
I would say thought-provoking, depending on what role you're in. You're not always forced to have to come up with something brand new. And since being involved in Ladders, it's really opened my mind up to different ways of thinking and applying to my role.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone. So that will wrap us up for today. Thank you to Team Travel Change for joining the GBTA Ladders. The GBTA. Thanks, everyone, for sharing that. That's really awesome to hear about everything you got out of the Ladders program over the last season. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up the podcast today. So I want to thank the Team Travel Change for joining our Global Business Travel Association podcast this morning. And if you're going to be at GBTA convention in Dallas this summer, please, this is your official invite to join us at our education session. So if you're interested in learning more about travel change, if you want to meet the team and ask them your own questions around this concept, please join us at our education session, which will be on Tuesday, August 15th at 8:30 in the morning. So don't let that time scare you. I know it's bright and early, but please, come join us, ask your questions, and learn more about the Ladders program as well as travel change. So thank you again, everyone, for joining. You have been listening to the Business of Travel, the official podcast of the Global Business Travel Association. For more information about GBTA and its work, visit gbta.org and be sure to rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. And until next time, thanks for listening. Bye-bye.